Let's talk for a moment about SpaceX, the Elon Musk idea that we're going to have a private consortium industry taking people to outer space, whether it's for space travel like tourism or whether it's exploration out into the far reaches, maybe for science. A lot of these ideas that get people all excited and worked up, very much like back in the original days of the space race in the late 50s and through the 60s, with this idea of we are going to get out and reach into the stars. I'm not sure how realistic that is. It doesn't have to be. In fact, realism has not often spurred exploration. What spurs exploration is people who are visionary, people who dream, people who think about what might be out there. And I fully support the idea of Elon Musk having a private company doing whatever he wants to. Hey, look, it's his money, right? And especially if he's got people coming along and buying space to do experiments or to put a passenger or whatever. I mean, that funds the rockets. I'm very troubled by Monday's launch. When you think about this, yesterday, SpaceX launched a U.S. spy satellite into orbit. It's not just the matter that the government is now paying for his space equipment. Some people are like, oh, this is still a private company doing it. No, it's a private company now taking tax money to do what the government wants them to do. And little strings get attached to these ideas. I don't know if you realize that. No money is really free. There's always some kind of string attached. And when you've got now a private company being used to do the biddings of the government, whether it's, and I'm not saying they're locked in and now they're going to be just a government tool, but I think it sets a very dangerous precedent. Not only because the government can just print up money anytime it wants to. Oh, we're going to pay for a launch. Well, can I have the money? There you go. I mean, the idea that there's actually anything of worth coming from the government going to SpaceX or any other company that takes government funds is ludicrous. Governments do not create wealth. Governments take wealth. And therefore, if you're getting wealth from the government, whether it's to buy space on your rocket or whether it's to get a retirement from, whether it's military service, in my case, a disability pension from the Army, whatever that money coming in, that's coming from somebody else's taxes, right? So this is what's troubling about the SpaceX launch of a spy satellite. That's another thing that's troubling. I don't like spies in the sense that I don't like peeping Toms. If you looked out your window and you just saw somebody there looking at you, if you're not creeped out by that, then you might be an exhibitionist, whatever. It's not my deal. But I don't like somebody looking in my windows. And I wouldn't like it if it was just some neighbor kid, which that's happened before. I remember, it's close to 20 years ago, we had a neighbor kid who would just come and put his face up on our window and just stare into our house. Didn't like that. I don't like the idea of some guy across the street with binoculars looking in my windows. And I don't like some guy putting binoculars up above my head, looking at what's going on, and whether it's my government looking at somebody else's country or somebody else's country coming and looking at me, or if it's our own government spying on us, whatever. The fact that you've got more spy satellites going up into orbit and it's being assisted by a private company, all kinds of troubling to me. So let me ask you, is there some kind of conspiracy involved here? Is there some kind of a connection by which government is trying to buy out the interest of this private enterprise? Maybe there's no space travel at all. Maybe these launchers are like launching a firecracker up into the air. And it's all a big puppet show. What do you think? Send me a comment. I'd love to engage you. Of course, my email address here, steve@radiofreespeech.com. And we do have our phone lines open. Once again, you'll find that link right there at the front of the page. There you'll find the phone number. You can just click on it if you've got your mobile device, because we're also on apps for both Apple and your Android. So check it out, radiofreespeech.com. Let's engage on this subject.